Hey Samantha.
Hi, Chaz.
Today we are chatting in the Healing One Chill Lounge, and I, Chaz, am going to interview Samantha. It's going to be great, so check it out.
I'm excited to be here.
Glad you're here too. Just going to ask a couple questions today about your awesome psychic work.
Wonderful.
How did you come to realize your psychic life path?
My life path. It's definitely, thought you were going with how did you realize you were psychic, but the life path part didn't happen until I think I was 24, and I was at school at Sonoma State getting my degree in psychology. I was highly functioning alcoholic. I was getting 4.0s at school and partying just as hard.
Nice.
Yes.
In a certain sense.
Yes. And I got to a point where I felt like I needed something more. I knew I needed to get out of the lifestyle that I was in, and I needed to jump out of it. I started doing Bikram yoga, which helped me sober up for the first time.
Sweat it
out. And then I found myself in a training program that helped me to uncover all of that, helped me to deal with the addictions, looking back at it now, realizing that they were addictions without it being a program. But for me, stepping into my gift, stepping into my psychic awareness really came about through that process, really digging into wanting something more, grasping for something more, knowing that something more was there and not knowing how to find it. When I got to my training program, I realized that was it. That was it. The light bulb just went on. I knew I had a lot of work to do. It was an incredibly emotional year and a half. Doing that kind of psychic work of stepping into the gift means a significant amount of deprogramming. I had to reteach myself that what I was experiencing was in fact real. There's so much stigma, one, about being psychic in our community and in our culture, that was scary enough for me to admit. I've talked to other psychics about coming out of this psychic closet, which is like just as scary, when I had to tell my parents, you know what, look, I'm choosing to be a psychic. That's going to be my job. You know?
Yeah.
They pretty much reacted as you would think pretty normal parents would react. They were supportive and questioning my choice at the same time.
That's good.
But really, once I accepted it within myself, was when I really hit the go pedal. Right. I knew that it was my purpose. It was my destiny. I had no idea. I still have no idea how that's all going to unfold. But I do know that once I got to feeling that I was on track, that I had found my path, there were times where I tried to get off of it. Because once you learn some of these things, you can't unlearn. You can't hit the go back, like, let's rewind
There's
that.
no go back.
So there were stints where I tried drinking again. It didn't work. Mostly because it didn't feel right for me. The amount of guilt that I had in myself that I was harming myself, and I was cutting off my clarity, my connection to source was diminished when I would drink. That's what really, really pushed me more into my path of doing the work that I'm doing, my psychic work. And as I continued to test the boundaries, the universe kept pushing me back on the path. So it became an act of free will with very clear footprints on the road from my guides and from the universe or divine source, however you see the energy. But it became more and more clear. And the more that I accepted that is in fact for me, the easier and more fulfilling it has become. Now, now I am on it. I know that I am on it. And everything that I do is geared towards my purpose because it is what I want to do. It has become my desire. It's what fuels me. It's what fulfills me more than anything else. So it's taken me years to get there. It's taken me years of uncovering, years of healing, A lot of crying, a lot of apologies, a lot of confidence boosts. It's not a pretty road, but it's the road I want to be on, that's for sure.
It's your road.
It's my road.
And that's why we're talking about life path, because
Mm-hmm.
this is your life path. This is something that you were either brought here for or brought yourself here for.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, wonderful. So how long have you been on this path now?
2012, January of 2012 was when I started. Was when I stepped into a meditation class that I found out to be psychic kindergarten.
Nice.
They call it meditation because it's gentle. Oh, meditation, I want to see what that is. And that's what pulled me into it. And what that class really was teaching the basic foundational tools of how to read energy, how to connect with your higher self, how to develop a relationship with the power that is outside of our awareness sometimes. It's how to bring that into our awareness. And so, yeah, a little over 4 years. It's been something I've done on the side, but really committing to it last June. I bought my business license, put my big girl pants on.
So 4 years on your life path, but 1 year almost on really striving and thriving down your life path.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'd say driving the car of my life path has been in the last year.
So driving yourself.
Yes.
Car. Same difference.
Yes.
Same thing to facilitate.
Exactly.
I'm curious to understand how it is to read yourself. Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it crazy?
It has gotten much easier. Much easier. It hasn't always been easy. I still regularly, I have an incredible community of psychics, mostly psychic women around me that I check in with when I need help. There are times when I get so caught up in my own stuff, my own emotions, my own attachments, my own resistance, whatever it is, that it's hard for me to acknowledge what is truth, and it's hard for me to see outside of the clarity. I get stuck in my own fog, and that's where not just me, but I think it's super beneficial for all psychics or all healers, people that are in this community, to help each other. Checks and balances. There's
Very
a
crucial.
major propensity in this industry. It sounds silly to say that, but like community, collective,
whatever you
yeah,
like to call it.
that there's always a challenge of the balance between ego and spirit. And that's the biggest mistake that I've seen psychics make, is that they get to this point of like, I know everything. I have my gifts harnessed. I can see it all. And that's the number one block. That blocks you from being able to expand because you've already admitted your limit. You have it all. So that is the creation of what limits you. So if you're not eager to learn, even if it is about yourself from somebody else, then that is where I see growth being stifled. And that's where I'm open ears. And I have a bullshit meter, just as I encourage everybody to have when they're sitting with me. It's like, what resonates and what doesn't. And at the same time, if that meter goes off, it's usually an indicator that there's something I'm not seeing. I can usually identify, is that my stuff or is that their stuff? Okay, we'll go through that. If it's not their stuff, because I can read them as well, then there's a reason I'm getting lit up about it. There's a reason I'm getting triggered that doesn't work. So if I realize it in that moment or 3 weeks later, there's usually an aha.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah. How often do you do healing work on yourself? You do readings pretty decent often?
Every day.
And healing too?
Every day.
Cool.
I'm driving my car, I'm talking to you, I can drop my grounding cord, I can check in with my space.
Wonderful.
And it's taken me years to get there.
Right.
It's taken me years to be able to, yes, have a conversation with you and possibly read what's going on in the other room or see what's coming, because it's just a heightened sense of awareness. But if my spidey senses aren't going off, then I can usually be calm and I don't read what's going on around me because it can be exhausting.
Would you agree that it's pretty crucial to do healing work with yourself on a consistent basis?
Absolutely. When I don't is when my tires get flat, essentially. It's like that is when I recognize that I am screwing myself over by not making time for me because I don't think I have time.
Right.
And I still do that. I will fully own that it can be difficult for us to make time, but and I still have that dedication to myself. I know in my heart of hearts that I am the number one person in my life that will not let myself down. And if I start to notice that I'm slipping on myself, I'll rein it back in. And sometimes it's much easier said than done. But that's why I have a collective of incredibly talented healers and friends, such as yourself. You know, I've called you a few times.
Absolutely.
Where we're all in it together. We're here to help each other.
That is the big key.
That is the key.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So going a little deeper, do you work with family and friends?
I do work with friends. I've learned through trial and error that I'm not open to doing any sort of free work. What I've noticed is that the value of what it is that I'm offering diminishes. If somebody is receiving something because they want to and they want to check in, they just kind of want to see what it's about, or they're curious, or they want me to prove to them that I can do what I know I'm capable of doing, then that's when I feel undervalued. That's when I feel like I have let myself down for putting myself out there for somebody else. I'm not opposed to doing free if I see that it is a critical situation or a circumstance where somebody needs help and they are going to implement what it is that I'm saying. So I do find that when there is a value exchange, whether it be trade or for money, because that's how I see money, is that it's a value. You have a value for something that you've worked towards. And so it's a value exchange for the work that I have done on myself to get to where I'm at to be able to offer the service. So the value exchange is what is critical for me in working with friends. Because also since we're friends and they see me with my guard down and they don't see me in the professional psychic sort of way, then there is a lack of validity also for what it is. Especially if people have known me my whole life.
That makes sense.
There's a lot of people who have seen me fall down face first. And then it's like, okay, well, who is she to say da-da-da? And that's fine, you know? Mm-hmm. We all have those stories, but it's really, for me, I am willing to work with friends. Family, no, because for me, I have to have that place where I feel like I'm off work, that I'm not on, since what I am is also my business and who I am is also my business. There isn't really a clock in, clock out.
Right.
And so for me to be around my family, it's nice to be able to let my guard down. They are incredibly supportive and open to hearing my stories, open to hearing my experiences. I don't ever feel like I'm being judged. I don't ever feel like I'm getting the sideways glance of what is that you're talking about. They're always very interested in what it is that I'm saying. So I do share insights. I do tell them. I'm happy to teach tools and stuff like that with them. But when it comes to actually sitting down and doing healing work, I'm too emotionally invested in the connection that I have with them. And for me, in my experience, my emotions have clouded my vision. And so it's not even that for me it'd be too emotional, but that it's also, it would be more difficult, it would be more challenging for me to know that I'm operating off of my sight or my senses rather than my emotions, because I want them to be happy. So would that skew the vision of what I'm able to read or interpret? Potentially. And so that's where, for me, I would much rather refer them to my team of healers that are with me on this journey, because I do trades with them as well. I've had other healer friends where I've wanted to gift a reading to a friend, and instead we did a reading swap. So I read my friend's son and she read my friend, and everyone was happy.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, it was a trade of giving, but it worked.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's the best advice you can give people stepping into the healing world? You know, just now starting to realize, oh, wait, maybe I'm an energy healer, or maybe I'm a psychic, or a medium, or wow, these are some powerful gifts that have come out of nowhere, and what the hell is this?
So my initial response is, Don't stop, get it, get it. That's real. I won't finish that. But what it really is, like, when you begin to change your vision, when you begin to change your thoughts, when you begin to let yourself think in a different way, doors begin to open. Circumstances begin to happen. Things or circumstances that people might think of as weird really start to come out to the forefront. And it can be scary. My advice is to keep moving forward. Keep pushing through the doubt. The doubt is not yours. The doubt is planted in you by somebody else thinking that it isn't right, or somebody else saying that there was a weird story there. Doubt is not you. You are the essence of your own being. When you are aligned with your heart, there is no doubt. And so when you are feeling doubt, and I've experienced this so many times, I still almost will sometimes preface something that I say, well, I don't know if, and that's a load of baloney, because I do know. There isn't doubt. I'm the one that puts the doubt there, and it's not mine. It's the doubt that somebody will believe what it is that I'm saying. So if you're recognizing that you're in either a tribe of people or a group of friends that aren't as open to it, keep it to yourself. If you tell somebody something and it begins to be a doubt, keep practicing. It's not keep it to yourself forever. It's keep practicing until you build up the confidence, because that confidence will come. And when you have the confidence, you can speak more clearly on the subjects. When I was very first starting, I ran into a friend at a music festival that I hadn't seen since high school, and he asked me, he's like, "What are you doing now?" And I was with a girlfriend of mine who knows that I was on this path, and I answered him, I said, "I'm a psychic?" Meh? I'm like, okay, so the conversation, kind of went from there. But then my girlfriend later, she was like, "Hell no, you can own that. That is yours.
Stand in your
shoes. Stand in your truth. Stand in your power." I knew that was my path, but I was worried about what he was going to think. So instead, I dumbed myself down. I belittled myself so that it wouldn't feel so threatening to him.
And
which was totally,
and
that's totally my perspective. That was my projection onto what the circumstance was. And so, and there's mistakes that we all make, but looking back at it, I've never answered that question with a question again.
Good.
That's for sure.
And to revert back, don't stop. Get it.
That's real.
I have one more question for you today in the Chill Lounge chats.
With
Chaz. Where do you see yourself 5 years down the road? Pretty open-ended.
It is pretty open-ended. And what's really exciting about that right now, actually, is that I can't see it.
But it's there.
It's there. And it's so big that for me, I know that the work that I'm doing right now is more than laying the foundation. I've laid a lot of the foundation, and now I'm actually building. And I know that my sense is that if I were to see where I am in 5 years, it would scare me.
Right. And
that comforts me, to be honest. The fact that I can't see that comforts me, because it lets me know that it's bigger than what I can imagine.
Right.
It's bigger than what I am allowing myself to see in this moment. Because if I start thinking about what's going on in 5 years, it keeps me from the work that I'm doing now. And every moment becomes less tangible when I take myself out and I want what I want in the future. If I sit here and I really soak in this moment, realizing that this moment, we might have another interview, but this moment will never happen again. So I soak that up, and that is what really, really supercharges me to get to that point in 5 years. And I have no idea. Hopefully I will have a house on the beach in Maui that all of my friends can come to.
Wonderful. So it's potential. I'll be there for sure.
You'll be there. You'll get the call.
So it's potentially like you're kind of climbing this mountain right now, and you may see a peak, but maybe when you hit that peak, there's a whole another mountain range behind it. Mm-hmm. Is kind of where you're going with this.
Yeah, I would say, to that analogy, I would say that I'm climbing up a mountain, and I cannot see the top because there's a layer of clouds. I know that there's more mountain beyond the clouds.
You got to break through.
And I'm climbing to the clouds.
So climb into continuously break through,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually you reach the top.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said earlier too, is there ever a top? If you reach the top, then you stopped. You're fulfilled. And you don't want to do that. We should be open and allowing of
Mm-hmm.
more learning and understanding and progression.
I know that I have a human body. That is a fact that
Mm-hmm.
you and I can both experience. This is real. Which lets me know that I haven't reached the limit. If I had reached the limit, I wouldn't be in a body again.
Right.
At least that's my perspective on it. So there's work for me to do here. There's growth for me to experience. And that is my belief, that we are all here in these human bodies to experience what we have to experience, what we came here to learn, what we came here to share and experience together. It's my belief that we all have our own little sliver of the universe. That is, I have my own sliver, you have your own sliver, that is our very own brands. We have our one vibrational frequency that is unique to us, that is our own. We get to choose by free will what we contribute to that universal frequency, because it does have an effect on others. And so...
That's awesome.
Yeah. So...
Wonderful.
I'm excited to be here again. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not excited to be in a human body. And then actually, there are those low points, but I've learned to experience them with the joy that I can feel. I can feel the pain. I can cry the tears. I can feel it in a body. And I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for those experiences, because every single tear teaches me something.
You hear that? That is good stuff right there. Wonderful. Awesome, Samantha. Well, thank you for being with us today at Healing One in the Chill Lounge, chatting with myself, Chaz.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
I love this.
Absolutely.